I'm back in my hometown, the world famous, well known city, Wuhan. Oh, my throat is feeling itchy already. I'm living in the old political center of the city with ugly residential buildings resemble the ex-Soviet postmodern architecture. The nearby newer district, however, those buildings looks much better with shopping streets, fancy malls. They're only 5 minutes walking distance from each other, by the way. I'm going to spend another 2 weeks here before traveling back to the US. The street video footage you see here were captured through my cell phone, so you don't have to constantly stare at my boring background. Let's talk about South Korea. Since the failed coup President Yu orchestrated 2 weeks ago, the South Koreans have uncovered many haunting details about this dramatic event. And this is from South Korea media source, okay? And since then, many of the information have been translated and discussed over in Chinese media. I want my South Korean audience to verify this information and give us your take, all right? Because it is not really being discussed that much here in Western media. Everyone was hyper focused on Syria for a while. Since May this year, the North Korean government has been protesting that the South Koreans were sending balloons and drones carrying flyers over the airspace of North Korea, capital Pyongyang. And the tension became very high in the North Korean peninsula. Some Taiwanese geopolitical analysts were even relieved, saying that, oh God, thanks to the Koreans, war might happen over there before it happens over here in Taiwan. If you only watch Western media, you will get the feeling that okay, it is all North Koreans' fault, right? They are the aggressive party here, ruthless dictator, and all that. But now the South Korean media have been releasing information saying that it was all because of President Yoon and the defense minister of South Korea. Here we go. The goal of the South Korean authority was to provoke North Korea to fire the first shot. But after 5 months of aggressive provoking by the South Korean, Kim Jong un did not take the bait. At one point, and please, my South Korean friends, please help me verify this, okay? That the South Korean authority considered assassinating the head of the ruling party, Han Dong-un, and then pin the blame on the North Koreans. Let me say this again. Killing the head of the ruling party, that's President Yoon's own party leader, okay? And then put the blame on the North Koreans. Okay, what is a good reference here in the United States? Let me think about this. So that's basically Biden and Lloyd Austin plan to shoot down, let's say, Nancy Pelosi's airplane while she's on her way to Taiwan, and then blame it on the Chinese. Or maybe while Nancy Pelosi is in Kiev, uh, kill her and blame it on the Russians. Something like that, okay? They even have North Korean troop uniform ready to be used as evidence. And the purpose of doing that is to provoke the North Koreans into firing the first shot, as I said, and use it as an excuse to start the military curfew. So basically, the Korean version of the Gulf of Tonkin, if you think about it. So South Koreans got lucky this time. That wasn't just a failed curfew. That was also basically a failed coup that might have led to the Second Korean War. Several Chinese geopolitical analysts are saying that this is US planning in the background, trying to provoke some kind of conflict in the Korean Peninsula to distract the Russian special military operation in Ukraine. Georgia, North Korea, Syria, these are all meant to drag Russian military to confront in multiple regions in order to weaken its focus in Ukraine. And if Russia is unable to help North Korea, Beijing might be forced to step in, provoking a greater regional war. I said it before in my previous video. US is very desperate in provoking China into a war. So basically to turn the Korean Peninsula into a new Ukraine. Now there's more detail to this. The South Korean military force has a drone warfare department, okay? And after the failed military coup, a cargo container belonging to the military caught fire. And the South Korean opposition party claimed that it is President Yoon and his corporates trying to destroy evidence of drone operation into the North Korean airspace. And South Korea's military actually confirmed this. They confirmed that there's a military cargo container destroyed by fire from within, okay? And they did not deny the opposition party's accusation on this. If my audience think about this, in today's world, it is very dangerous to send drones into opposition countries' airspace. Because drones today have very effective military capability, you can potentially use it to pin down and assassinate enemy leadership, render them combat ineffective. So sending those drones directly into Pyongyang is a very dangerous act. For people who are unfamiliar with the Korean Peninsula, look at the map here. The capital of South Korea, Seoul, is literally right next to the 38th parallel. So within the range of traditional artillery. And the conventional thinking, the conventional wisdom is that there's no way a South Korean led government would be crazy enough to risk a war with North Korea, knowing it will likely lead to the destruction of the capital and collapse the country's economy. So, giving all these leaked detailed information about this failed coup, President Yu is beyond insanity here. He's willing to risk war in order to stay in power. Or is there, other uh, secret things that happen in the background? Now, the ruling party leader, Han Dong-yu, the one that was supposed to be assassinated, stepped down a few days ago. The defense minister of South Korea, after the failed coup, resigned and was arrested, and while in custody, tried to commit suicide, but failed. I think he tried to hang himself in a bathroom, and a correction officer opened the bathroom door and stopped his attempt. Oh, by the way, he was also the childhood friend of President Yu, in which, by many standards, he's really not qualified to be the head of defense of South Korea. But President Yu appointed him anyway. Maybe this entire thing was pre-planned for a long time. I bet he has a lot more juicy secret inside his brain. The South Korean commander who participated in this curfew was questioned. The 707 Special Task Force, Colonel Kim, I think, when the order was given, he thought he was being fly to Pyongyang to fight, and didn't know he landed in his own parliament, and he felt that he and his troops were being lied to about the operation. I think there were South Korean opposition politicians claiming that President Yu would conduct a curfew to reach his political objective. But back then, not many people believed this. I mean, seriously, they need to put this entire thing on Netflix. It's better than Squid Game, okay? So, all the geopolitical analysts in China is asking the $1 trillion question here. Did the Americans know about all this? With like a smug face, okay? It kind of make me wonder how far the investigation will go or can go compared to, let's say, the attack on Nord Stream, because the consequence of this event could have been much more severe than Nord Stream. And Koreans are very proud people, okay? And this is, again, Korea, not Japan or Germany, in which Germans and Japanese, they're after World War II, they have this kind of defeated nation aura on them. Korea is not a defeated nation. Many Koreans believe that they have full determination of their political system and their country. And the opposition party also hinted that there might be another curfew attempt as well in the future. All right, I'm not sure if my audience pay attention to the political drama back in this November in Philippines. I don't see it reported that much in mainstream media. The vice president of Philippines, Sora, openly stated that she had contracted an assassin to kill the president, Marcos Jr., and his wife, and the Speaker of the House as well, if she were to be assassinated. And she emphasized openly that this was not a joke. I don't want to talk about this in great details. You can find it on Reuters and Associated Press. And what I'm trying to say here is that from the Chinese point of view, over the past few years, politicians who have been taking power in these, with all due respect, semi-colonized countries like Philippines, South Korea, and Taiwan as well, leaders that won elections are all extremely, extremely pro-US, to a point that, from the Chinese perspective, they're just pure puppets. And they are being used to provoke China, Russia, North Korea. And within those countries, the opposition leaders or parties who are more neutral leaning were suppressed and under heavy fire by ruling party. 民进党立委林淑芬大喊回防，国民党立委上午9点09分突围成功。堆积如山的椅子挡在门口，绿营立委拿椅子堵门。到了9点15分，大部分蓝委进到议场，但肉搏战也正式展开。双方上演攻防战，拉扯推挤，之后在议场内指挥的陈玉珍头戴头盔，全副武装被推上主席台。蓝营终于在10点38分。In the case of Philippines, Vice President Sora and her father, the ex-president, are more neutral-leaning, I would say. Same with in Taiwan, opposition party and presidential candidate Ke being arrested and jailed for minor issue right after the election. And now South Korea. So many of us Chinese geopolitical analysts, this is US pulling the strings in the background, forcing many of these countries to take an abnormal aggressive posture, risking even war. And I think the same tactic can be seen now in Eastern Europe as well, since the Ukraine war, against politicians and opposition parties in, let's say, Poland, Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, and so on. Very dangerous time we're living in right now. I will try to keep you guys updated with all these events here in Asia. I mean, anything can happen now, before and after Trump's inauguration. To end this video, I want to show you guys a clip of two Chinese grandpa arguing over the war in Ukraine here. One of them support Ukraine and the other support Russia, I think. Take a look.
我告诉你，谁要的是想恢复不要紧杀掉，打平原上的我到哪去？不要紧把俄罗斯俄来独立出去，俄来的早也独立了，现在愿意归顺俄罗斯。乌克兰俄国多，这个都知道吧？也宣布独立人愿意归顺俄罗斯。1991年，我告诉你，乌克兰独立就是办公室。乌克兰和俄罗斯就该统一。谁反对俄罗斯统一乌克兰，谁就是办公室。你斯坦的智商高吧？